All right, we're live.
Yay.
Welcome back to another awesome episode of Life on the App. This is episode 101. Holy smokes. You're our first episode in the hundreds era, so welcome.
That's exciting.
Yes, so welcome, Anne. I'm sitting down with Anne DeAngelis, and I'm going to get into a quick bio for her, so sit back, relax, and let me tell you all amazing things about Anne. So today on the podcast, I'm welcoming Anne DeAngelis, entrepreneur, educator, and host of podcast And I Like Large Parties, Conversations and Cocktails with Influential Women in the Events Industry.
It's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful, but it's great. It gets the job done. Anne is the founder and creative director of Champagne and Stars Event Decor, a Delaware-based company known for its thoughtfully curated event rentals, from vintage statement pieces to luxe champagne walls and occasional modern touches. Anne collaborates with everyone in her industry, including event designers and stylists, helping them bring their creative visions to life by providing the perfect pieces from her collection. Her eye is unique and elevated. Her eye for unique and elevated decor makes her a go-to resource for anyone looking to create unforgettable event experiences. Before launching her business, Anne spent over 20 years as a high school English teacher and college professor, shaping minds and encouraging creative expression. Now she channels that same creative energy and passion into the events industry and on her podcast, where she builds connections and shares meaningful conversations with powerhouse women. She is also a proud wife and mom and wears many hats with grace. I can't wait to dive into your journey from the classroom to event rentals and hear how you are building community through both decor and dialogue. So welcome.
Thank you.
So excited to have you. So let's turn it over to you. How did we get here? Less of the ChatGPT bio that I did not write, but tell us from your perspective, how did you get here?
Yeah, so like you said, I taught high school for 20 years, and it's a long time. I mean, it's a lifetime.
Yeah,
it really is.
You don't look old enough for that.
Oh, thank you. And I started adjuncting at 2 different schools. Thought the natural trajectory would be maybe to start getting into higher ed. Yep. I wound up getting my doctorate, and I just wound up in 2019 having to come to a crossroads of, am I going to stay in education, which 35 years in is like full retirement age. Mm-hmm. So that's the goal that most teachers have. Yeah. Do I stay in this for another 15 years? Or do I do something different? The landscape, the educational landscape had changed, and I had seen it coming a few years prior. Started thinking to myself, I don't think I can do this for another 15 years. But if I could teach college full time, maybe. Right. But once I was doing that, it was more of the same. Yeah. So it went from thinking, I don't think I can do this for another 15 years, to saying the words out loud and having a conversation with my husband. What would happen? Because I don't want to take food off of the table, the kids out of school. I don't want to disrupt the life that we have created. Yeah. And he said, we'll be fine. Just quit. Do it. We'll figure it out.
I love that.
So I did. Took a few months trying to figure out what to do. We used to throw these very elaborate parties at the holiday time. Mm-hmm. Coworkers, family, neighbors, and I always enjoyed decorating for them. They tended to be themed. So it was, kind of fun to do that. And I just said, well, maybe I'll try to provide. I don't want to be an event planner, right? But provide the decor, because I like the creative aspect of that. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how I got into it. This was right before COVID started.
2019. Yes. I wanted to hide when you said 2019. Yeah. That's a crazy time to start a business.
It was. I had just started. I got the business license, and I started getting some inventory, and then all of a sudden COVID hit.
Wild.
So yeah,
and events are canceled.
Exactly. But I feel terrible for the folks that were already in the industry, because things completely came to a halt for them. Yeah. For me, I feel like it gave me time to try to figure out how I was going to do this. Things started to open up a little bit in terms of, you could go to an estate sale or Facebook Marketplace, some of that contactless interaction to get furniture and decor. So I started getting my inventory over that period of time, so that when COVID passed and things were lifted, the bans were lifted, I had what I needed to just start.
Yeah, smart.
yeah.
Smart. Yeah, so you were less of like a scramble. You got to be like maybe a little more selective.
Yes.
Take your time, get the pieces you wanted as
Yeah.
opposed to just like, let me take what I can get because so-and-so needs it tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, so that timing probably worked out for you.
It did.
And it probably allowed you the space to like know what you wanted.
I think so.
Right, especially coming out of teaching. So how did teaching prepare you for this space?
I think teaching prepares you for everything.
Yeah.
The skills that you wind up acquiring as a teacher, and you grow and you evolve. You don't know what you're doing when you first start. You have the content knowledge, but you really don't know squat about how to run a classroom.
Right.
And all the administrative aspects of it. So after 20 years of teaching, just multitasking, organization, planning, all of the things that really are necessary. Dealing with people
skills, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All of those skills that are necessary for running a business, no matter what the business is, I think being a teacher, you hone those skills and you can transfer those to anything.
Were you sad? Do you like miss your students?
So I was, it's interesting because there was a devastation inside of me because I worked so hard. And I was so good at it. I was good. I was a very good teacher.
Yeah.
And I loved the kids. It was the parents that started to drive me insane.
I coached high school or grade school volleyball, and that's the hardest part is the parents.
Yeah.
It's the parents.
It was the parents, and also the environment at school changed.
Yeah.
This is a crazy analogy, but it's like Ghostbusters 2. I think it was Ghostbusters 2.
Okay.
Where there's this really negative ooze under the streets of New York City, and everyone is just biting each other's heads off and being so short. We went from having stresses at the job, but loving to hang out after school to just chit chat about it and laugh, or happy hours. The vibe at school amongst us changed.
Yeah.
Everyone was at each other's throats. Nobody wanted to go to happy hour, or it was few and far between because people didn't want to spend another minute at that job in that building.
Sad.
And it was sad.
Yeah.
And it just became toxic to me, and it wasn't fun anymore. So it wasn't the kids. I love the kids.
Yeah.
We had some very needy students, and I thrived with the kids who needed me the most.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was tough to walk away, and I felt like once everyone knew that I was leaving, I was consoling everyone
Right.
about me going,
Right.
and I never really had time to process.
Yeah, or grieve.
I processed in the fall when my husband was at work, the kids were back at school, and I was by myself sitting in silence at my desk, trying to figure out what I'm going to do next, and mourning the loss of what I just had and what I walked away from, because it wasn't something I hated. I just knew the longer I stayed in that job, I would hate it, and I didn't want that to be that legacy for that part of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you have that, like, as an entrepreneur myself, like, if you don't wake up and like flame your fire, like if you have a fire inside of you, like once you, I feel like every entrepreneur I talk to, once you know, like in your gut, that fire is lit, like once you're not pursuing that fire, it's like every day is draining. So like, I'm sure for you, at least for me, like when I kind of made up my mind I was going to quit my like corporate job and join this team, like every day I didn't do it was like painful to get out of bed. Like I wasn't fulfilling my passion. So, all right. So now we're in the fall where we went from being, in a classroom, probably 30, 40 kids, teachers, principal, you're surrounded by people all day, walking to a hustle and bustle, building. Now you're totally by yourself. It's day one. Where did you even begin?
So I just decided, okay, I'm going to start getting inventory. I'm going to have this event decor rental company. My friend, she was a marketing teacher at the high school level. She's now an administrator. She said, you have to get on social media. I'm like, what? I haven't been on social media. I bailed on Facebook back in like 2012.
Nice.
I got tired of people posting like their best lives and what they ate for lunch.
Facebook's the worst.
Now I'm doing that ironically.
I know.
But you have to get on social media. So that's really where I started.
Smart. I think that's smart. That's what I would do.
I made an Instagram account.
What I would do.
She walked me through how to manage it, how to, just how to post. And I got a follower, and then I followed them. And I mean, honestly, that's really how it started.
I think that's literally, if anyone ever came to me and said, I want to start a business, that's the number one place I would start. Is because if you don't have the content, you don't have the marketing, you don't have the reach, then who cares if you have the best decor? Who cares if you have the best anything?
You have to get it out there.
How are people going to know? So that's awesome. So, For those of, most of our followers are people that live in the area.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our followers are within, I would say, a 5-mile radius of this office. So someone that has no idea what an event decor business is, like, break it down to the dumbest of dumb. What exactly do you do?
Okay, so I deal with people who are having parties in their homes, and I deal with people who have event planners, and so I never speak to them or see the client, never interact with the client, but I'm interacting with the event planner because they're doing everything on the behalf of the client. So there's a wide range. If you are having a party at your house and you need a chair because your sister is having a baby and you're having a baby shower, I have chairs that you can then rent for that event. That's like at its simplest.
Yeah, the bare bones.
Yeah.
And when you say chair, you mean like I'm the baby mama. I'm going to open up all my gifts in this beautiful chair in front of all my friends who are going to take 1,000 Instagram photos of me.
Exactly. Yeah. So like a peacock chair or I don't know, an egg chair, something that's a statement piece.
A vibe.
Yes.
It's not just like grandma's fold up chair.
No, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
And then, we have weddings where we're setting up backdrops. So, do a little bit of draping or lounges. I mean, that's a big thing. People like to create, to use your word, a vibe at a wedding. So they like to have an alternative area for guests to sit at. And that's where we come in.
Yeah.
We bring in couches and we bring in chairs and tables to kind of create just a more cozy, more aesthetic atmosphere for guests to go chill at instead of sitting at their table. Champagne walls, we do that. So parties, weddings, corporate events, there's a range, and it depends on what the party is, what folks really want. Some folks just want a backdrop with congratulations, Bob.
Right, on retirement.
On it, on your retirement, and some balloons on it.
Yeah.
To, okay, like now we're traveling out of state because they've rented one of our, expensive items, and this is for an event that's a big deal.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I feel like you are almost ahead of the game because as a millennial myself, and I feel as though the generations below me, like, it's all about the Instagram. It's all about the picture. It's all about now it's not even just the photo. It's like on your Instagram reel of photos. It's one of them will be a video of me, grabbing a drink from the champagne wall. So I feel like you're really ahead of the game because ultimately what you're doing is you're creating moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're creating moments for people to photograph, people to, remember. It's not like, oh, I just went to the retirement party. I went to the retirement party and there was this awesome photo I got with my friend, or, you're creating these moments for people to remember.
Yeah.
So your target audience isn't really necessarily the bride. It's really the event planner, the wedding coordinator, the person that's putting all these things together.
Yeah. Or the bride that says, hey, this is all about like FOMO, right? You want to induce FOMO in people that look at your Instagram. So I might have a bride who is like, I want my wedding to be the wedding that people are sad that they were not at.
Yeah.
So you have something that is going to take it to that level. I want that. And that's when the event planner reaches out and says, I have a client who really wants this.
Yeah. What would you say is the most fun, exciting thing you've done for an event? It's probably hard to choose. What's something that stands out?
I mean, one of the things that's really popular right now are these immersive experiences. Okay. So we have the champagne wall where the hands come out. That's very popular. The champagne skirt that we have at events.
You've been posting that a lot.
Yeah, it's being rented a lot.
Yeah.
It's all about...
Are they renting you too?
Yeah. So, and if I can't do it, then I'll outsource it to somebody else that I know that can do it.
That's a lot. You do your hair, makeup, dress.
It's a whole thing.
We'll drop in a picture of it or a video of it. So it's a whole thing. Champagne skirt. It's like a big skirt, almost like one from like the Tudor era, right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. I don't know. This is more your world than mine.
It looks almost like I don't know, like a frame,
a cage.
Yeah, a cage. There you go, a cage.
And there's champagne all over it.
There's notches where there's champagne, and it's got wheels so that you can
you walk around,
stroll around, and you have to talk to people. Which again, being a teacher,
right?
I feel like that definitely has prepared me. But those kinds of items are particularly popular right now because, again, everybody wants their event to be set apart and to look the coolest and to make people sad that they weren't there.
Yeah. And ultimately, like, especially when you're in your like wedding era, like we're going to 5 to 10 weddings a year, and they all start to blend together.
Yes.
So like the last wedding we went to right now, the big thing is like the cannoli guy.
Yeah.
So like on the dance floor, we're all dancing, all of a sudden this guy, and like the cannolis themselves were great, but the guy himself,
That's right.
he was a vibe. He was dancing.
Yep.
He was pointing at us on the dance floor, making them, like it was a whole vibe.
Yeah.
And then I think he finished giving them out and he was still dancing on the dance floor.
Yeah.
So like that, to me, that was the first time I ever saw a cannoli guy. Like I will remember that forever.
Yep.
What are you seeing as like trends right now? What's the big things you're seeing in like the event space, especially like weddings?
Yeah, so the immersive experiences for guests, the things that guests aren't expecting, the things that make the guests go, wow. Last few events, big events that I've been to, high-end, elevated events, it's about the food presentation. Like you mentioned the cannoli guy. I'm seeing a lot of really sophisticated and interesting ways of displaying food. Coffee carts, dessert carts, the cannoli guy. It's no longer you just come in and there's the buffet. There are stations and they're really specialized kinds of foods that you wouldn't expect at a typical wedding. It's not typical banquet food. So I feel like people are really having fun with how to present food and do it in a really interesting and fun way.
Fun.
I'm seeing that a
I feel
lot.
like the obvious one I'm thinking of is like the oyster shucker, right? Like the guy standing there shucking oysters. Anything else that's like jumping out to you though?
Yeah, the oysters, the cannoli guy. Ice sculptures are like a huge thing I'm seeing.
I don't get the ice sculptures.
Yeah,
they're
that's a big
actively
deal.
melting. I just feel like that's such a waste of money, but people love them.
They
It's
do.
a photograph moment.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you keep up? Social media?
I guess.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not one to follow the trends. I know that you should from a strategic standpoint. Yes, I keep my eye on what's going on. But if that's not who I am and that's not my vibe as a business, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And I also feel like leave something for someone else. I don't have to be a jack of all trades.
Right.
If someone else is really into, I know this comes up a lot, throne chairs, for example. Like I have no interest.
Like a king and queen, throne?
Yeah,
Got
it's
it.
a big deal. Like especially at like proms, and I have no interest in that. And I don't
not
need,
your vibe.
It's not. I don't need to. I know some really wonderful vendors that is all they do. So why do I need to start gathering that inventory?
Right, when it's already there.
You have it. I'll just send people to you so that we can both eat.
Yeah, exactly. We say all the time, like we play very well in the sandbox with other real estate agents because there's plenty to go around.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to try to steal business or, grab low-hanging fruit. Like there is plenty to go around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't want to overwhelm yourself. You'd rather be like the best at what you're good at.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what would you say is like your specialty? This is where like I really shine. Like I'm the bride that is this vibe. Like who would you say like is your, dream client, someone that you really like perform well with?
So my vibe is vintage
and
1920s. And I love clients who are looking for that kind of aesthetic. I have the furniture, down to, the cigarette holder is authentic 1920s.
So cool.
The glasses, like I don't mess around. I'm not buying champagne glasses from Amazon and they're 1920s. No. These are authentic. So when I have clients who want authentic things from the 20s, from the 80s, from the 70s, I have that.
Wow.
So I really like those kinds of events where they're looking for specialty pieces, setting up lounges that when guests sit in the lounge and they're using a telephone that's on the table, that is legit from that time period.
Wow.
I just feel like that's an experience. That's, again, one of those immersive experiences, and it makes for great photos.
I love that. That's like a vibe I feel like I've never really jumped into. Like I've never been to a party like that. But I think it's so cool. Like it is definitely a vibe, and I can see it in your content, your social media. It's so cool. So where do you find your pieces? Are you like just estate sales? Like how do you find all these beautiful items?
So estate sales are great. You have to really get up early and get in line very early for those.
These people are nuts.
They are not messing around, because a lot of folks that go to estate sales, they will resell. So they're in the business of gathering pieces that they sell antiques, and I totally understand that. That's a whole other business, and I get why they're there. We're all there for different reasons, which is funny to me. So estate sales are okay. Facebook Marketplace, like I don't know. Don't sleep on that
Everyone
because
says that, but I never have any luck. I don't know if I'm just bad with it. I'm so terrible at it.
sometimes you can get some really great things and you're not dealing with wackos
Yeah.
because that's, the other part of it. Goodwill.
Yeah.
I love Goodwill.
Which one?
But it's hit or miss.
What's your go-to?
You have to go to the Goodwills that are in nice
Yeah.
neighborhoods
Yeah.
because that is where the good stuff is.
Yeah.
However, I live in the Bear area. The Bear Goodwill, they have some good stuff. And I'll
Nice.
just pop in there. You have to be random about it.
Yeah.
Just go in. You never
Right.
know. And
Low
don't be disappointed.
expectations.
Don't be disappointed if you
Yeah.
walk out with nothing. But sometimes you find a gem. People like to give me things. I remember when I was starting out, hey, I'm getting rid of this dining room set. And, initially, oh, okay, yeah, I'll take that. I've gotten to the point now where I have to be very selective.
say no.
And say no. Like, I'm not, I don't want everybody's junk. What everyone assumes is junk.
Yeah.
Their junk, it could be my treasure. But
Right.
I have to be really discerning about what to take. So estate sales, Goodwill, Facebook Marketplace, people just keeping their ear to the ground for things that come up that I might be interested in and them giving me a tip.
I love that. All right, so kind of switching gears, you're also a mom.
Yeah.
This event space has to be a grind, right? It's got to be a lot of nights, a lot of weekends.
It is.
How do you manage being a mom and a wife on top of nights and weekends type business?
Yeah, so the good thing is when I started this, my kids were kind of young,
Yeah.
right? Like I think my son was in 6th grade and my daughter was in 2nd grade. They're a little older now, but by the time COVID was lifted and I really started to have events, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of customers and clients, they're several years older now. He's old enough where, he's 13, he can watch her. Sometimes the setup
That's
is only
nice.
2 hours.
Yeah.
So
I'll
if
be
it's not
back.
a lot
Mom
of
will be
travel,
back.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that. Now that they're older, they watch themselves. He
Yeah.
drives, he's out, girlfriend, he's got a life.
Ugh.
But my daughter, she's 13, so she's
Yeah.
content. Family, they'll step in.
Yep, thank God.
Yeah, like
Same
if
with us.
there's like we were in New York a week ago, I had to do something. My mother-in-law was like, yeah, no problem. Like, I'll watch the kids.
Yeah, that's us. Same thing.
So family is great, but the fact that they're older allows me to have that flexibility. And I also have the flexibility to say no,
Yeah.
which I know a lot of people don't have. If there's a job that is somewhere I don't want to go, too late for the strike, I can't. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm not
sorry.
available. So I do have that luxury to
Yeah.
pick and choose what I want to do if it's going to be something that's going to conflict with my schedule or be difficult.
What do you want your kids to learn from you in this entrepreneurship world? Would you want them to take similar paths?
I want them to do what's going to make them happy, but I don't want them to do this initially.
Yeah.
I want them to go to college. I'm a firm believer. I mean,
You're in education. It makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm a firm believer in education. I want them to do that. If at some point they decide they want to switch careers and go into something else, totally fine. Or they want to start their own business, totally fine. Resiliency, drive, just working hard, wanting your own happiness in life. I think those are the things I want them to take away from me. And whether that's just within their career path or they decide they want to start a business at some point, I think those are transferable characteristics and qualities that I want them to have.
Yeah. And I'm sure like with your marriage too, like at least for me and Vincent, like we don't have, I mean, it's not all sunshine and rainbows around here, but like we ultimately encourage each other. And like the fact that your husband said like, quit your job. Like,
Oh,
you
absolutely.
Got it. I think that sets such a good example of like, newsflash, we're all not making it out alive. Like we have to be happy. Like, there's calculated risks. There's steps you can take to make sure you don't blow up your whole life.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to be happy.
Yeah.
So tell us about your podcast. So you're not this isn't new. Sometimes I have guests on here that are so nervous and they're anxious and they're freaking out and they're like fixing their hair in the mirror. She's like, let's get started. We're good. Let's go. So you're a pro. You're a pro at this. So let's tell me about your podcast. When did that start? I know you're on season 2.
Yeah.
Tell me about your podcast.
Yeah, so I started this last year, and I remember my husband saying, like, don't you have enough to do? Like,
Right.
totally supportive, on board with whatever you do, which I love him for,
Yeah.
but, like, why?
Right.
You've got so much. I went from a career where professional development was really, really important to what we were doing. I mean, a lot of it is crap, and that's a whole other conversation. But the good PD that we got, it was important. And I went from interacting with people every day, people coming into my room to ask questions, department meetings, faculty meetings, me going to visit colleagues. I feel like I missed that aspect of having a career, because this is my new career.
Right.
So
there's no guidebook on how to do this. Yeah.
There isn't. And, you run into people, you have collaborations with vendors, which I love, especially women-owned businesses. I love that. But when you're at an event, it is go, 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 go. Hey, girl, hey, nice to see you.
Right.
Like, we don't have time to sit and actually talk.
No pleasantries.
Exactly. So I think I craved professional development, learning, having those professional conversations that were such a part of my career as an educator. So how do I get that? Because I know I'm thirsting for that.
Yeah.
And so that I got the idea to...
Might as well share.
Yeah, let me just sit down and talk to people and find out, what are you doing? And what are the struggles you're having? And how would you handle this situation? This is how I handled it.
It's amazing. So
Yeah.
these are mostly people you're having on your podcast that are also in this event space.
Yes, so it is specifically for that.
Yeah, give me some examples. Photographers.
Yeah. Photographers, folks who are pastry chefs and bakers, event planners, hairstylists, makeup artists. I know what it's like dealing with event decor, and I will have folks on who do that because I don't know everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you're going through. Entirely. There might be some things that they're happening over there, and I don't even know. But I do like to have a variety of people on, people that are in different facets of the industry that I'm really ignorant about.
Yeah.
I like to learn from them as well.
So no shade to any of your guests, but who would you say has been one of your highlights? Who's been one of the most people to have on? If I were to listen to one episode, which should I do?
Yeah, so I just interviewed. Her name is Heather Nunnery, and it's actually airing on Thursday.
Oh, perfect.
I think she's amazing.
Cool.
She is younger than most of these people are younger than me, which it's a riot because they're all in their 30s, and I'm just now I'm in a different age bracket. So I'm like, oh, these are young girls. She's great. She founded Delaware Female Creatives.
Okay.
So she is in the event space, but in a slightly different way. She created this group. It's got 4,000 members at this point, and she's a graphic designer. She does branding and marketing, logo design, that kind of thing for businesses. She also owns her own line of candles and skincare. But the thing that I really admire her for the most, not that those aren't important, is this group that she started just from scratch.
Yeah.
And it's become huge, and they put on these networking events. I met a lot of people in this industry through my association with Delaware Female Creatives.
It's amazing.
So I think she's doing in real time kind of like what I'm doing with the podcast, just having but she's connecting people in real time, having these events. So I think she's a really good, and she's very easy to talk to, and when we talk about some interesting things. So yeah, I liked her. I had a florist on last season. I'm so impressed by her.
Yeah, I could never.
Yeah, she's amazing. Her story is she is like a geologist.
Yeah.
She owned a firm of geologists.
Rocks? What's geology? No, the world?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess when you're...
what's that? Oh, I guess flowers, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess when you are deciding that you want to build a building, they have to start doing land surveys and checking out the soil and the rocks and all that stuff. So I think she was in that. But she's a scientist. And she only employed other women scientists.
So sick.
She had this business for years. Mom was a florist and decided, you know what, I've got the floral bug. Let me start doing that. So that's what she does.
Cool.
And she does high-end stuff.
Wow.
A lot of corporate events. And she just sold her business. I just think that's a boss right there. So she was great.
I love that. I'm not into that stuff at all, but I did go to a wedding one time that the florals were absolutely insane.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes a difference. That was the first time I remember looking around at a wedding and being like, oh, I get the floral thing. Because sometimes, there's a couple flowers and then, they probably spend a crazy amount of money. It feels like flowers are so expensive. They
are.
But I went to a wedding one time that it was draping from the ceiling and on. It was absolutely stunning. So that's cool. So yeah, so definitely love that you're doing a podcast. As a podcaster myself, it's a thankless job. Sometimes it's hard. I'm does anybody even watch this? Does anybody even listen to this? But then you'll get that one random message. We had, a brother-sister duo on one time. They're they play bars and restaurants and stuff, and they got a gig off of our podcast.
Oh, nice.
And whatever, a couple $100, but to me, worth it.
Yeah.
Like worth it. It fueled me to do another like 100 episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I think it's a grind doing these podcasts, but I think people do love it and they do appreciate it. And you're giving people a platform that might not otherwise, have access to your audience or whatever. So I think it's amazing. I commend you a ton. I think you should keep at it.
Thank you.
So let's kind of pivot to your favorites. So you plan a lot of events, you're at a lot of events. What's your go-to cocktail?
So I'm a wine drinker.
Okay. Fair.
This is going to be a lame cocktail,
Okay.
but an appletini.
Okay.
I love a good appletini.
Cool.
I feel like they're really hard to mess up, and it reminds me of like my club days in the
Like club days?
in my 20s. Yeah, like club days. A good appletini. Yeah, it's not a super sophisticated drink.
Yeah.
But it's always good. It's always a pleaser.
Love that. What's the best month out of the year to have an event?
I hate summer.
Yeah.
I know a lot of weddings are in summer.
Yeah.
Summer is not my vibe. I love fall.
Same.
I like when we get hired to do something that's gothic, macabre,
Yep.
Halloween. So I'm going to say October.
I love that.
Yeah.
And Vince and I keep saying like the seasons seem to be shifting. Like we've had some like colder early Junes and we've had some hot Octobers. Like we took the kids to the beach in November this year.
Yeah.
Like crazy. So I do think the seasons are shifting and I think that like October month is like perfect. You're not dead in the sun, like squinting in your photos.
But it's not freezing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. What's your favorite type of event to work with?
Yeah, old themed events.
Yeah.
I really do. I know that
Like more the corporate vibe or the bride?
corporate gigs are good. They spend a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They don't probably blink at your price tag.
They don't. Yeah. So they spend a lot of money, which, a lot of these events that we do, they're fundraising galas, to be honest. And you have to spend money.
Yeah, spend money to make money.
To make the money.
Yeah.
So I really like when clients understand that and they aren't trying to nickel and dime. I mean, one of the things that we joke about in this industry, it doesn't matter like what you do, whether it's florals, baking, decor, people go on Pinterest, they see these amazing looking events, and then they think that costs $500. Yeah, what you're looking at right there, that's $25,000.
Yeah.
They don't realize that.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people in the corporate space, when they're having these big gigs, they have an understanding of what things cost because that's the kind of wheeling and dealing they're doing on a daily basis. So they won't bat an eyelash at, hey, this is the inspo. I tell them, well, this is how much it is. They have a realistic understanding of that versus, someone who's just scrolling Pinterest on their couch and they see something that looks really cool and pretty and they just don't have an understanding of how much that costs.
Yeah. And those corporate events are probably recurring as opposed to like a wedding that's a one-time.
That's right.
Hopefully one-time wedding.
Yeah. If you do a good job and you connect with them,
they're calling you back.
They do tend to call back.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Any big events coming up? That you're excited about?
I actually have a Halloween party.
Nice.
And it's not corporate.
Nice.
It's a private party.
Cool.
And they're going all out. And that's in October. It's the end of October. I'm pretty excited about that.
So the statement that's like the shoemaker's kids don't have shoes. Do you still enjoy planning your own parties? Or is it now like work for you?
It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It honestly
like my husband
is.
and I just bought a house and
yeah.
It's hard.
It is. It is different. I have scaled back when we have parties.
Yeah.
This is a very basic example. I would never serve potato salad in the container in which it came in. That's if my mom's not making hers, like if we're buying it. I would never in a million years do that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Let me get a proper serving bowl.
Right.
Now I'm like, potato salad's out.
Tastes the same.
Because I was busy, at an event last night or last week. So, it is different.
My husband's been picking on me because I'm also a property manager. And whenever I get an issue from any of our tenants, I get it fixed right away. Like, I'm like, let's get it going.
Sure.
Let's get it going. Our house has had some punch list items and we've been living there a month.
Yeah.
We've been there a month. And Vincent finally today was like, we need to get them over here. We need to get these issues fixed. Like, our back door isn't locking. This isn't safe. But I do this every day. Like, I'm a property manager manager for everyone else. So doing it for myself is like,
You don't want to deal with
la,
it.
la, 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 just pretend, just pretend. I don't care that the back door doesn't lock. He's like, no.
Yeah.
We have children that live in this house. We need to lock back the door. So I feel that. So where, kind of wrapping up, where can people follow you if they're interested in your services? How can they get in contact with you?
So I have a website. It's just champagneandstarsdecor.com. You can email me at info@champagneandstarsdecor.com. I am on Instagram at Champagne Stars 1 because someone else had Champagne Stars and I didn't want to make the handle too long. So it's just Champagne Stars 1. Also on Facebook. A little bit on TikTok, but there's nothing popping off on TikTok. Everything that's on TikTok is a repeat of what's on Instagram.
It's a lot on
Instagram
TikTok.
is probably a good
I think Instagram's where it's at for businesses.
vehicle, yeah.
Yeah, we're heavily invested in Instagram. I love that. And so what's next for you? We're trying to find a new space?
Yeah, I mean, I've got some things on the horizon that I think are going to be big. I'm just trying to be very patient.
Yes.
And I'm trying to take my time because it's a pretty massive venture and it's something that I'm very passionate about and it's worth the time and the effort to make sure it's done right.
Right, that 2020 COVID time probably prepared you for where you're at now.
Yeah.
Like, let's be patient. Let's wait for the right thing. It's going to be worth it. Good things take time.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having
Anne
me.
was amazing. Thank you so much. Follow her on Instagram. We'll tag all of her handles below. Thank you, everyone, for listening to
Awesome.
another awesome episode of Life on the Ave, and we'll see you next week.